Hey, good morning, folks. It's Monday, sometime in May, one of these days. Monday, May 17th. And yeah, it's a lot of coffee morning. This is the second cup of coffee already. Kind of need it. I stayed up a little too late last night playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I played it before, but I just bought it again on Steam because it had the expansion pack, and yeah, I forgot how fun that game was. But anyway, I'm not talking about video games today. We are back in the dining room as opposed to the garage today because I was kind of scrambling around getting some things done, and I didn't have time to set up in the old garage. So here we are, right here. Hi, how's it going? Yeah, so what I wanted to talk about today, I've actually been wanting to talk about this for a few days, but haven't really known exactly what to say until recently. So my kids, we've been having some, maturity issues. I don't want to go into too much detail because I'm not trying to embarrass my kids or anything like that. Not that they're going to be sitting here watching it, but there's some, shall we say, Berenstain Bear style issues that we're having parenting issues. If you're a parent, you understand exactly where I'm coming from. We got our kids, they're 5 and 7. So, things like honesty, telling the truth, being responsible for, the things that you do and don't do, doing your homework, things like that. Those are starting to become issues, and of course the wife and I, we're both teachers. Man, my hair is just going all over the place today. So we're both teachers, and so we know all the little tricks that the kids get into before they get into it. Like we've got a sixth sense about this sort of thing. So our poor kids they're not going to be able to get away with anything for long. The oldest one, again, not going to go into serious details, but one thing I can talk about is the oldest one has been sneaking treats. Hey. Get your claws off of that. No, I see you. I see you in the camera. I can see you right here. When you put your claw on that screen, I can see you, cat. Anyway, the oldest one has been sneaking treats. And we found on multiple occasions candy wrappers stashed away, and yeah, obviously that's not something that we want to encourage because, she doesn't like to, she doesn't want to eat her dinner then. She's not hungry for her actual food, and it's not healthy to be sneaking treats all the time. And that's not the only issue that's been going on. And, the little one has had his share of problems as well. But it presents those parenting challenges. We're starting to run into little attitudes about certain things. Kid gets confronted about something that he or she's embarrassed about, and they kind of clam up, or they get defensive, or they go on the offensive. Like, why are you asking me about this? Why would you even ask? I'm perfect. I'm beautiful. Yeah, I mean, you are perfect and beautiful, but I don't want to raise a little crook, a little sneak beef. On the one hand, I will compliment their creativity in trying to hide certain things. I caught my daughter as she was leaving the house. I was coming in from the garage this past week, and she was leaving out the front door with this bag, a trash bag. And I'm like, where are you going? She's like, I'm going to take this out to the trash. Well, first of all, red flag. She never takes anything out directly to the trash. Like, she would throw it in the kitchen trash. I'm like, what's in the trash? What's in the bag? did the classic, "What's in the bag?" And she's halfway out the door and she just freezes. And as a parent, when they're walking and you ask them that pointed question, "What's in the bag?" and they freeze because they're trying to think of something. They're trying to think of an excuse. They're trying to think of something to get them out of the situation that they're in. And she couldn't see me, but I'm just smiling like, "I got you, kid. I got you, kid." That's honestly, that's one of the hardest parts of parenting is keeping a straight face through all of this. When you're supposed to be serious and the kid's doing something that they know they're not supposed to do, they've been told not to do, they're trying to sneak it, they're trying to hide it, and you're looking at them like you're doing exactly the same stuff that I used to do as a kid. and you can't. The hardest part is just keeping a straight face through all this. You're supposed to be. My mom told me the same thing when we started growing up. When you get to that age and you're assuming you have a good relationship with your parents, you get to that age where you're able to talk about, more candidly about stuff that went on when you're growing up. I remember having a conversation with my mom one time, and she was like, "Yeah, the hardest part sometimes is when you guys would get in trouble, and I had to keep a straight face through all of this. And like, your brother would do things, and I would just be wanting to crack up, but I had to be the serious one." And I feel that. I get that all the time. Like, my wife and I sometimes we'll get the kids in trouble. We'll have our mean face on and scolding the kids, and we just turn to each other and we just don't you start, because it's there's some irony in parenting, and I think all parenting really you end up raising kids. Whether you try and do it differently than your parents, or you try and emulate certain aspects of how your parents raised you, or whoever filled in as your parent, whoever took that place as your parent. We try and do some things the same and some things different, some more than others. But there's always some irony involved. No matter what we do, we're always going to see a little bit of ourselves in our kids, good or bad. Good and bad, I would say. We're always going to see our kids try and pull the same things that we tried to pull when we were kids. And it's funny, the things that we thought we were so clever and got away with as kids, we catch in our kids. And it makes you wonder, like, did my parents catch even half the stuff that I thought I got away with, and they just kind of turned a blind eye, like, okay, I see what you're doing. Yeah, you're not hurting anybody, so we'll just let this one slide. It makes you wonder just a little bit how much your parents actually knew. Actually, I don't want to know. I really don't. I don't want to know how much my parents actually found out about my shenanigans. It'd probably make me cry. But anyway, so aside from that, I started a new book. I finished the last one. That was the it's over here. This is the one that I just finished, the 7 Habits of High. No, this was not the one I finished. What I'm talking about. It was. Where is it? Oh, there we go. It had the same color blue on it. It was E-Myth Revisited. There we go. E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. That was really good. That was a great read. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not a business person at heart. Everyone kind of is a little bit and isn't, but it's not my first language. We'll just say that. So it was kind of eye-opening as far as business processes go. and what a successful business looks like, even just a tiny small business. So I started moving on to a classic, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And this, hello, focus, do your thing. There you go. So I started this yesterday, actually, and a couple chapters in, and so far it's great. Now, this book was originally written in like the 30s, a long time ago. It's been updated since. It's kind of weird because I know this was published originally in 1936, but it has been updated over the years. So there's like, I was reading, there was a reference to Stevie Wonder and, how he's a synth pop sensation in the 70s. I'm like, wait a second. Is there a time machine involved with this? But no, it's been updated over the years. So there's a few more modern updates to it. It does kind of throw me off since I know when it was originally published. But even though 80 years in print, right there, that's crazy. This is an old book. Even though this has been around for 80 years, man, just reading the first 2 chapters, it super resonates with me as a parent and a teacher, and just as a person. Like, the first 2 chapters are really talking about the dangers of criticizing people, and just speaking to like people's personal emotional needs, wants and needs, and everything from like survival to love and affection to, and the one thing that really gloms onto is the feeling of importance. Most people, I get that. Most people, certainly I do, we want to feel important, or at the very least, we want to feel that our efforts, whatever our efforts are appreciated, because that fits into that importance. It's important to somebody, important enough for someone to remark on whatever it is we did. That sort of pat on the shoulder, that approval. Hey, you did a good job, and whatever form that looks like. And the opposite of that, criticism, how not just dangerous, but just utterly useless it ends up being. And I could get into criticism a lot more, having been an art teacher. We talk about art criticism, art critique, which is more of an academic sense, or at least supposed to be more of an academic sense. And people don't always treat it that way with today's internet age. But just how utterly useless criticism can be, and how it causes people to just shut down. And it's criticism is more, my takeaway was that criticism is more detrimental to a person's productivity, their ability to do anything, to grow and achieve more. It's more detrimental to that process than praise is to increasing that. You can really derail somebody with some criticism. Not that we want to do that. And thinking about my own kids, as a parent, if you're a parent, we don't have all the answers, right? No parent has all the answers. And when you become a parent, you realize that your parents had no idea what they were doing either. They're just winging it. They were just figuring it out as they go. Just like every parent under the sun. Some take it more seriously. Some read books. Some are just like, you know what, we're just going to go straight for it. And, some just check out and don't care, unfortunately. But, the thing that I got to remind myself is that kids are people too. And it's really easy for me and my wife, for both of us to want to scold our kids, when they do wrong, and our kids mess up. I mean, legit, they mess up, it happens. People mess up. Ooh, cats are having tussles. Kids do legit mess up. And as a parent, one of our instincts is to step in and be like, hey, you did bad. You did the wrong thing. You're not supposed to do those things. You're not allowed to do those things. And yeah, okay, the kid needs to get that lesson, but there's different ways to achieve that lesson. There's different tones. There's different ways to go about that. Yeah, if they're about to step out into the street, they need to be stopped right away. If they're about to put their hand on a hot stove, to the point where it's, going to cause permanent disfigurement, yeah, they need to be stopped right then. But what do you do after? Do you keep scolding the kid? Do you yell at him? Do you, smacking a kid is a little out of phase with today's values. But it back in the 30s, that it wasn't necessarily out of line. But you want your kid to grow. So what's the most useful? What's the most useful way of getting them to achieve those lessons, to learn those lessons? Is it going to be constant criticism? Like how many kids grow up resentful of their parents because of constant criticism, right? I mean, that's a trope. That's there's been books and movies written about exactly that, and just that. Some parent just constantly being critical of their kid, and that just drives this complex that this kid develops, right? Do we want to give our kids a complex? I don't want to give my kids a complex, that's for sure. And so I'm reading this and I'm like, this works for business. This works for my own profession, which is teaching. This works for my own kids. I can't wait to read some more chapters of this today. So highly recommend it. I have a link in the description below. Actually, many links in the description below now because I did some work over the weekend. Link in the description below if you want to check this out from Amazon. It's an affiliate link, so yeah, get a little kickback if you're interested. But yeah, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's a classic, but highly recommended. All right, guys. I have some things to do before class starts, so we're going to end it there. Happy Monday, everyone, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.